Greetings viewers, EricTheCarGuy here, back again with another tool review video for you. And over here on my bench, you will see I have a bunch of drill bits. Why do I have a bunch of drill bits? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is they tend to break from time to time, but more often than not, they get dull. When they get dull, what I've done up to this point is I've just gone out and bought another set of drill bits to help cover it. However, today I'm going to present to you a new solution, and that is the Drill Doctor. This is the 500X model that is here, and it is designed to sharpen your drill bits. So rather than buying new drill bits, I'm going to give this a try. Now there are two models, both above and below this particular model that I have here, but this one I believe fits at a nice price range, has some nice features that we'll explore in this video. This is the old scissor jack out of my Acura Vigor. I have since replaced it because when it flooded in the trunk, it got all rotted and rusty, and I don't really trust a jack that has this much rust on it. So that means all this is scrap. But it's also a really nice steel. I think it's a really good practical that we can use to check the effectiveness of our Drill Doctor. So we'll do before. We'll start with one I know is quite dull. This is a titanium bit here. Here's the drill bit I'm going to start with. As you can see, it's looking pretty dull. I don't know if you can clearly see that or not. But I'm going to try it first just the way it is without any sharpening. Then we'll try the 135 degree, then we'll try the 118 degree, then we'll try the split function that is possible with this tool. I wish it to be noted that from here on out I'm wearing my safety glasses. Nothing has been done to the drill bit at all. We're just going to check the performance of it without doing anything. Now I will admit that whenever you're drilling into metal like this, you really want to add some lubricant. I'm just doing this test here, but you saw basically where we started. It took a long time just to get that. So let's give it a sharpen. We'll start with a 135 degrees. We'll do that one next to it, and then we'll do the 118. Here is our Drill Doctor. As I said, this is the 500X model. It gives you pretty pictures of how it's used on the outside. Let's do the unboxing, but before we do, one last thing, country of origin. We always try to cover that here in these reviews. Looks like assembled in the USA using foreign parts. So it was put together here being the US. I have not, this is the first time I'm opening the box, and as I said, here's the other models that are above and below this one. So above it would be the 750, below would be the 350. I'll put links in the description to all of these, but I'm using the 500 here. Apparently these are all the people that put it together. Thanks guys. Looks like instructional DVD. Instruction booklet, product registration card, one part of the tool, and here's our guy. The only other thing in the box is this kinky little wrench. And here's our Drill Doctor. There's that diamond wheel down inside there. It's kind of neat, maybe you can see that. Okay, let's get to know our Drill Doctor a little bit better. This is basically the tool, and there's several different things involved with the tool, plus we have our chuck here. Now, this 500X model does 3/32 up to a ½ inch. The 750 model does 3/32 up to 3/4 of an inch. And part of the difference is the chuck, and you can actually purchase the larger chuck for this 500 model. Another difference with the 750 model is that it has an adjustable stop here for depth, so you can actually adjust the amount of depth that you do, that you cut off the drill bit. And both of these models can do either a 118 degree angle or 135. So you have the option of doing either angle. The 135 is apparently for harder metals, machine tooling, that type of thing. 118, well, and this 135 also supposedly does a cleaner cut than say a 118. And here's something quite interesting. If you remove this plug, and both the 750 and the 500 have this. If you remove this plug, you can do what's called split the bit. And I'll show you both not splitting the bit and splitting the bit, and if there's any difference cutting it. I'm kind of curious to find that out myself. But this is like a final touch of the bit. But another important feature here is the angle is adjustable. So you'll notice this has some wider areas here that fit into these slots when you install it. So when you put it in the middle, you're right at that 118 degree mark. But you can go above or below that to change the angle that you want. And I think I read in the manual that each one of these teeth represents 10 degrees. So if you moved over this way, it would be minus, so this would be 108. If you moved over this way, it would be 128, and so on and so forth. So if you were looking to get the bit in a slightly different orientation, that's one way you would do it. And these are the jaws that help align everything up. So it's critical it gets aligned properly, and this chuck helps you do that rather easily. But let's go through the process of giving one of these a sharpen, and we'll come back and report our results. I'm going to start by putting the drill bit down into the chuck. Leave about an inch or so, they say. And this tightens up just like a regular drill bit chuck, but you don't want to get it all tightened down now. You want it to have some movement before you install it. Now remember earlier I talked about this ridge here needing to line up. I'm going to line it up with the 118 degree mark. You also have to open this part of the tool. I'll show you why here in a second, but this will help it bottom out. And then also take a look down in there the way that drill bit is positioned. But just to show you what I'm going for here, you don't want the drill bit to fit into those jaws like this. You want it to fit into those jaws like this. You might even start out when you install this to put it in this direction. So when that pinches down, and make sure that this part of the drill bit is pointing up and down like this. You don't want it sideways like that. You want it up and down like this for it to sharpen properly. Looks good. Now that it's in there, tighten it down all the way. Now, as I said, I'm going to start by setting the tool up for 135 degrees, just to give that a try. Now this mount moves back and forth. This chuck is cammed. You notice it's wider here than it is here. So as you spin this, it moves it in and out. And you want to make sure you spin it an even number of turns. So an easy way to remember is you've got this white line. So when you turn the tool on, you can start at that white line. You can turn it around once to the next white line. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, this is what they say in the manual as far as how many turns. So 330 seconds, use 2 to 4.5 turns. 1/8 inch drill bits, 4 to 6, 3/8, 16 to 20. So you do it more the larger the drill bit. I say listen to the machine as it operates, and it will sure to tell you when it's done its thing. But simply from here on out, there's the switch, power switch is here. And I'm just going to insert it in on that white line, and then give it a turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do 6 just for good measure. That's what I meant by listening to the tool, because you could tell that the longer I used it, the less noise it made. So by the time it's not making noise anymore after an even amount of turns, I would say the drill bit is sharp. So let's take a look at what it did. That's what our drill bit looks like now, which looks a heck of a lot better than it used to. And this is that shallower 135 angle. Let's see how it drills. Right, I'm gonna go right next to where I was before and try to put a hole next to it. This is the 135 degree. Whoa. I would say there's a substantial difference between how long that took to drill through as before, which I didn't even get a chance to drill through, and as you could hear, the air pressure was starting to go down. Now I turned my compressor off so that it wouldn't kick on during the middle of this, so part of that is me. I'll charge it back up again now, but still, that worked a heck of a lot quicker. Now I'll try the 118 next to it, and then we'll try the split. I'm going to be using the same drill bit for this. Seems a lot pointier. The angle's a little different, but it looks like a nice, clean and ready bit. Okay, I'm going to start a different hole. We've got this other indentation here, but I'm going to start a different hole a little bit farther up. Oh, I'm also going to angle it this way. I dare say that cut even faster than the other 135. Now, let's cut it again, but this time we'll add a split. I'm actually coming to find that it's almost easier to leave this in here too loose, and then when you hit it with this, it seems to pull it right in line. Now we will split our cut by going in through the side here. You'll note there's a little indentation up here, and that should line up with that white line. All right, now that the bit has been sharpened, we're not going to take it out of the chuck, move it, anything. We're just going to leave it just like this. And as I said before, when we insert this, we want to line this white mark up with this groove in the side. And we need to, once we get it in there, we need to push it down until it bottoms out and it's in there firmly. But we do it once on one side, pull it out, rotate it 180 degrees, and do it on the other. Now, as you saw, the tool was fitting down in there rather snugly. Well, the chuck was, I should say. But I don't really see, I see a small difference in the split. There's actually a chart in the manual I'll show you here in a minute that shows how a correctly split bit should be set up. Here's the manual that shows basically the area in green here, how it's supposed to look. So it's a subtle difference, but according to this, the reason they do it is it prevents walk around. It also helps the bit cut more quickly. So we'll find out if that's true. All right, here's the final test. This is with the split bit. We'll see if it indeed does prevent the walk around. All right, well, splitting the point is the way to go. It seemed to go through fastest. It also did eliminate that walking around. So even though I couldn't see a difference, there apparently was a difference in the way it cut. As far as the smoothness of the holes, I'm going to be honest, This first one actually has the highest burrs. And they were saying that that was supposed to help eliminate that, interestingly enough. Either way, I would say that the Drill Doctor was certainly an improvement over not doing anything. I would also say make sure you get it chucked up in there correctly, because if not, you're not going to be as effective at sharpening the bit. So definitely take that information away. But really, a very capable tool and does what it's supposed to. I like that. Lastly, the manual has information on how to change the cutting, the diamond wheel that's there. Also information on buying different chucks. As I said, if you have the 500 and you want to do larger drill bits, you can actually purchase a different chuck for that and use that in the 500, I believe. And here's your grits or cutting diamond heads here. So be sure to check the manual for additional information. I am really happy with the result that I got from the Drill Doctor. I started out with a dull drill bit that wouldn't even bite into the metal, and now I have something that drilled right through in a matter of, well, we can call it seconds, can't we? But certainly a marked improvement over what we have. Now the kit also, as I mentioned, does do masonry bits in addition to these type of bits. My personal preference is for the 118-degree angle, but this tool is also capable of the 135-degree angle as well. It's not that difficult to use. It's pretty straightforward. There's also a little bit of troubleshooting in the owner's manual. If you find that you're not cutting the bits properly, it has some tips on what you may be doing wrong and how you can correct that. So be sure to read through the instruction manual to fully utilize all the features of the tool. That being said, I'm happy with the result, and I'm also happy that I'm not going to have to go through and buy new drill bits except for the ones that I broke. But I might even run the bits through before starting a job, just to freshen them up whenever I do a job in the future. But anyway, give it a try, give it a look for yourself. Links in the description to a bunch of additional information, so be sure to check there, including links to the tool itself. If you have automotive questions that were not addressed in this video, I'd ask that you head over to EricTheCarGuy.com. There's a welcome video there to tell you about all of our amazing features to help you with those issues, should you have them. If you wish to connect with me socially, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. And I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, stay dirty, keep your drill bits sharp.